When it comes to Pyro's melee weapons in TF2, there's one that stands out above the rest, and everyone knows it. The Powerjack isn't just popular, it's basically essential, as it gives you bonus movement speed, and its very lackluster downside of slightly more damage while you have it active barely matters, as most people will just switch to your flamethrower while you're in danger. It's the kind of weapon that makes you generally consider why you would ever unequip it. It's almost always useful, and it's always doing something, and for many players, it is just the Pyro melee weapon. You don't need to think about it, just switch to your melee while you're running back from spawn, or just any time that you're not shooting anyone. I mean, sure, some people might run the Neon Annihilator, but let's be honest, that is exclusively used for Pyro Shark gimmicks. It can be fun sometimes, dunking underwater and deleting people in the 2-foot sewers and nowhere else. Maybe Banana Bay. But outside of that specific situation, nobody uses it. If you say you do, you're lying. Oh, and the Homewrecker, of course, for the pyros who like to babysit engineers. You know, just smack the sapper, save the nest, maybe feel a little bit useful in the process. It's the weapon you bring when you're feeling generous, but let's not pretend it's a regular pick. This thing comes out when you're just bored and you feel like babysitting the noob. You're not really playing Pyro the way most people do. You're just swinging at a sentry gun, and that's it. And then there's the Extinguisher, which some people still cling on to. Once a monster, but now is just a weird weapon. Has a small niche as a finisher tool, but it is nowhere near as effective as it once was. So yeah, everyone just uses the Powerjack. It's the default weapon without being the default. But hidden in the dusty corners of Pyro's melee selection is a weapon which nobody pays any attention to. Let's talk about the Back Scratcher. Personally, I love this weapon. It has a unique upside that really sets it apart, not just among Pyro melees, but in the entire game as well. There simply isn't another weapon like it. It offers a boost to your survivability, which can make a real difference. The main upside of the Back Scratcher is the increased health you gain from health packs, by 50%. This means that small health packs now restore 30% of your health instead of the usual 20%, and medium health packs now heal for 75% instead of 50%. In raw numbers, that's 52 and 132, compared to the standard 35 and 88. Now, that might not sound like much, but it can be huge, massive even, and it can be the difference between winning your next fight or having to sit in spawn room hell for 20 seconds. Of course, nothing in TF2 comes without a downside, and the Back Scratcher comes with a significant one. You receive 75% less healing from all other sources, which means that medics, dispensers, and even the payload cart basically become useless to you. You're on your own. Now for me, medics seem to be allergic to me anyway, so this doesn't affect me at all. But for anyone else, this drawback forces you to play differently, carefully. You have to manage your own routes and know the map. You need to stay close to health packs like your life depends on it. Because it does. It's not a weapon for players who like to follow their team around like a little duckling. This is a loner weapon. But as we all know, teamwork is a lie in this game, and the most fun you can have is running off on your own to take on your own fights, which is exactly where this weapon thrives. And like anything else in this game, there is a bug with this downside. The medic's crossbow healing, completely not affected, so you can still be healed by the crossbow bolts, even while wielding this weapon. As long as your medic knows this. But now you might be asking, why should you care about some extra healing as Pyro? After all, he isn't exactly the most tankiest class, but here's one thing. The Pyro has a couple of niche weapons that involve movement, and both of them come with heavy self-damage. The Detonator is a secondary flare gun, which isn't really the best for combat. Sure, it can be a good source of crowd control if you get good with the timings of the detonations, but so can the Scorch Shot, but even better for less skill. Where the Detonator really shines is in its downside of 50% self-damage, which enables you to do a unique movement mechanic, the Detonator Jump. Similar to that of a soldier's rocket jump, you can use the Detonator to launch yourself into the air by timing a flare jump right at your feet. It's not as effective as a rocket jump, but it still opens up some creative movement options for the Pyro that most players will never expect. By doing these jumps, you can take alternative flank routes, reach higher ground, or just reposition faster than usual. With a bit of practice, these jumps can become second nature, letting you catch enemies off guard or escape dangerous situations before they escalate. It's not the most intuitive part of Pyro's toolkit, but it is one that can really pay off if you invest the time to learn it. This is exactly where the back scratcher starts to make sense. The extra healing from health packs makes a huge difference when you're using the detonator. It helps you recover from self-damage faster and more efficiently, letting you to keep up the pressure without constantly needing to retreat. That added sustain is what turns a risky mobile tool into a much more viable strategy. Plus, because you'll be playing away from your team most of the time, on flank routes jumping into strange spots, the downside of the reduced healing doesn't really matter, since you're not going to be near any of them anyway. You're relying on yourself and the map's health packs to stay alive. Plus, thanks to the extra healing, it's not unreasonable to use a jump to get towards a health pack, allowing you to get there faster and then recover back to full HP, making it far less riskier if you were to not use the jump. And the other movement weapon which you can use is the jetpack, or officially the thermal thruster. But hey, considering you've made it this far into the video, how about you subscribe, eh? Now back to the thermal thruster. It's basically a more powerful version of the detonator, when it comes to movement at least. It lets you perform much larger jumps without any self-damage, aside from whatever full damage you might take afterwards. It's great for covering large distances quickly, or just reaching higher places you can't reach with the detonator. Although unlike the detonator, the jetpack has no combat abilities, meaning you're completely reliant on your primary and your melee weapon for all of your damage output, which limits your options mid-fight. You lose that extra poke or finishing potential that the flare gun normally offers. On top of that, with the thruster, you cannot jump as often since it only comes with 2 charges, and there is a 15-second cooldown for each of them. It has a very long deploy and holster speed, which means you need to commit more when using it. It is not quick or as flexible in a pinch as the detonator is, and it requires a little bit more planning to be used effectively. Just like the detonator, you're able to flank with it. You can use it to get to places a Pyro normally cannot get to, and when you need to retreat, fly towards the health pack, which, thanks to the back scratcher, can heal you basically to full HP, reducing the downtime in between fights, as you can now jump straight back in. Personally, I love to pair the back scratcher with these 2 movement options, as it allows Pyro to be just as flexible and dynamic as a demo man or a soldier or even a scout is in the battlefield. Being able to go from burning down enemies to jumping away to a health pack with either the thermal thruster or the detonator, to then go straight back into a battle is really thrilling and engaging. But the back scratcher does have one more stat to it, 25% more damage per hit, making it deal 81 damage rather than 65, which allows you to 2-shot medics and 3-shot soldiers and demo knights. And it does have random crits, which allows you to 1-shot these 2 classes, whereas a stock melee weapon is not able to do that. Which means that if you are to pair the back scratcher's offensive capabilities with the movement of the detonator or the thermal thruster, you can do this. Okay, that's enough of that. But overall, most people will still just run the Powerjack. Extra movement speed for free is insanely powerful, but if you would prefer to use other movement options, or just want to experiment with your loadouts, why not give the back scratcher a try? Did I get anything wrong? Disagree with my opinions? Think I missed something? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, or found it interesting, consider liking it, sharing it, and possibly even subscribing. And thank you for getting to the end.